Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Allison. I'm an SRA Hub advisor, and then today we're going to be talking about job offers and negotiating salaries. And I'm assuming you're watching this because you all either have gotten a job offer or you're going to get a job soon. So, best of luck in your job search if you're still searching for a job. And if you are looking to decide on like what job you are going to take, I hope this is really useful for you. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start off with what is a salary? So a salary is an amount of money a person earns, and it's generally paid on a monthly or bi-weekly basis. And it's often expressed as a yearly sum. So you'll usually hear people say that they make like X amount of money per year. It's usually in the thousands. So like they make $60,000 a year, $70,000 a year. Okay, so moving on from that, a salary negotiation is the process of negotiating and discussing how much money an employee will be paid, and it generally takes place between an employer and an employee. Okay, and a job offer is a formal offer of employment, and it may include the salary, benefits, and start date, and we're going to look at that. Or a sample job offer in the next slide. And I forgot to mention, if you all have any questions, make sure that you type them into the chat, and then I'll get to them at the end. Okay, so this is an example of a sample job offer. So this one just says, ABCD Company is pleased to offer you the position of Assistant Director, Customer Relations. Your skills and experience will be an ideal fit for our customer service department. So the next line has the start date, and it also says that the starting salary is going to be $42,000 per year, and it's paid on a weekly basis. So you know how much you're making, and then you know when you're going to get paid. And then the rest of this goes over what else is included in the job offer. So it says a full family medical coverage will be provided through the employee benefit plan and will be effective on March 1st. And then dental and optical insurance are also available. And they also include the plan for pay time off, which includes vacation, personal, and sick leave. And then it also says that they have a retirement plan that begins 90 days after their start date. And then at the end, it just says, if you want to accept the offer, sign it and stuff like that. So as you can see, a job offer is not just a formal agreement or offer just saying that you get the job. It also includes a bunch of other stuff besides how much money you're going to be making. Okay, so let's get into comparing job offers. So when you first get an offer, or if you get multiple offers, you want to make sure that you ask for the offer to be in writing, and that just makes sure that it is like a complete final offer. It kind of makes it official. And then you also don't want to just compare the salaries. So as we looked at in the sample job offer, that includes a lot of other things besides just your salary. So you want to look at the entire package, your benefits, your vacation, your happiness in the role, long-term career benefits, and path to progression in job or company. So if a job pays less than another job that you're looking at, it might not necessarily pay less because the benefits and the other stuff offered might compensate for that amount of money that the other job is offering. So for example, if someone makes like $50,000 a year, but they get like a lot of paid time off, they have all this insurance and stuff like that, and another job is offering like $60,000 a year, but they don't offer as many benefits, then you really have to weigh your options and see which one you would prefer. And then you also want to make sure that the role fits your career goals. So not just how much money you're making, but also if you can see yourself being in that job on a day-to-day basis, if it fits within, your 5 or 10 year plan, if you have that, you just want to make sure that the job that you're taking is not just focused on the money, but also the other things that are included in your package. And then also, if it fits your personality, your career goals, stuff like that. So it's not just about the money. Okay, and then you also want to start your negotiation based on what's offered versus throwing out a random salary or asking for a signing bonus that's not included in the offer. So when they say that your starting salary is this much, you don't want to offer, or you don't want to say that you're expecting like $20,000 more or something. You definitely want to be reasonable, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so we're going to get into why you should negotiate. So the team selected you as their top choice. They'll work with you on your offer to ensure you are happy in the role and that you will stay. So this is a really, really good thing to keep in mind, because they wouldn't offer you the job if they really didn't believe in you and think that you could do a good job at it. So when you negotiate your salary, make sure that you understand your self-worth and that you acknowledge that they want you to work with them. Okay, next one is when you start a new job, your starting salary will likely remain the same for 12 to 18 months. So this is really important, because if you're not happy with the salary that you're offered in your job offer, you definitely want to advocate for yourself, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck with making that amount of money for the next year or so. Okay, and then future raises will be based off of your starting salary. So in the future, down the line in your career, your starting salary is really important, because that's the starting basis for what your future job offers will build upon. So let's say if you make like $60,000 a year, I highly doubt within the next 2 years you're going to be making like $150,000, if that makes sense. Like your increments in your salary are going to be small, so you want to make sure that you're starting, or you want to start at a higher salary, right? Because you'll just continue to make more money in the future. Okay, and then lastly, don't ask, don't get. So the worst thing that can happen is that they say no if you ask for a higher salary, but the option's not there if you never ask. So don't ask, don't get. Just try to advocate for yourself if you think you deserve more. Okay, so actually before we get to this one, let's do an attention check. I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick. Okay, let's do the attention check. And this is definitely just a subjective thing, so you definitely don't have to, there's no like right answer. Okay, getting some mixed answers. Let's take like 20 more seconds or so. So far, no one has said very comfortable, which is totally understandable. I mean, negotiating salaries is, I don't think someone is ever like 100% comfortable with. So, okay, like 20 more seconds. I'm just waiting for a couple more people. Okay, I'm gonna end it right now. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. All right, so this slide is just a couple of interesting statistics about who negotiates and who doesn't. So men negotiate 4 times more often, and women asked for 30% less on average. 20% of women never negotiate, even when appropriate, and people with no other offer, and graduates who are just starting their first job, and people who think companies will be offended are also people who don't negotiate. So I think this is a really good slide to include, just because we're all about equal pay, and especially if you're a woman, a lot of women obviously don't ask or try to negotiate their salary to be higher. So just keep this in mind when you are starting your jobs. Okay, and this is also an interesting statistic. People who fail to negotiate their first salary miss out on $500,000 by age 60. So you're missing out on $500,000 if you don't try to negotiate. Okay, so let's get into research. So when you are trying to negotiate your salary, you definitely want to make sure that you're prepared and that you do your research. So the first thing that you can do is you can do informational interviews with people who work in the field that you want to work in, and you can ask them, like how they started off, how much money they made then, or at least the general range, and then how much money they've kind of made along in their career. But that's not to say that you should ask someone personal questions about their salaries, so don't be super direct. When you do these informational interviews, you can ask for a general range, but never ask someone about their salary, because that's very sensitive information that people generally don't like to disclose. So you can also ask about the field in general, and then you should have grounds and reasons for negotiating. So when you go to meet your employer about negotiating, you want to have, you want to be prepared, and you want to say why you think you deserve a better salary. Okay, and these are all really great websites where you can check out how much money people in your career field are making. So there's Indeed, PayScale. I highly recommend Glassdoor. That's a really good one. It's kind of like a Yelp, but for companies and organizations or employers. So on Glassdoor, you can see not only how much people, or what the average salary is for different positions in that company or organization, but you can also see reviews of previous employees or current employees, if they approve the CEO, what the company culture is like, stuff like that. And then you can see all the other websites, and then you can also include the location when you're searching. So for example, teacher salary, Fresno. And this is really important because depending on where your job is, that's also going to affect your salary. So obviously in the Bay Area, the cost of living here is very high. We all know rent is ridiculously expensive. So any salary here in the Bay is going to be probably slightly higher than, let's say, a salary in the Midwest or somewhere where it's a lot cheaper to live. And that's just because your salary has to be adjusted depending on the cost of living of where your company or organization is. Okay, so you also want to be flexible with the amount. So again, provide a range, show excitement and gratitude for the offer. You want to ask/negotiate within a day, and prioritize negotiating items by importance, difficulty, likelihood of receiving, and then be comfortable with silence. So I know a lot of you said that you're still kind of uncomfortable with negotiating your salary, which is totally fine. It's, an uncomfortable thing for everyone. However, you want to show your appreciation and gratitude for just getting a job offer in general. That's really important. And that'll also probably give you some brownie points and, make them a lot less or a lot more likely to give you an offer if you're you show your gratitude and make sure that you're nice. Okay, so a couple more tips. Don't discuss your salary during the interview. Even if asked directly, provide a range if they insist on a salary. So when you're getting interviewed, make sure that you do your research beforehand, see how much that position pays in the area that you're going to be working, and then based off of that and your experience, you could provide a range for how much you expect to be paid. You can also negotiate via voicemail, don't negotiate via voicemail or email. Try to make it in person, and if not in person, you could do face-to-face on Skype or something. Don't underestimate your value, so really make sure that you understand your worth. Again, just going back to those statistics, make sure that you understand your worth and you know how much you deserve to be paid. But of course, be reasonable. And then don't get too personal or defensive if they counter offer with something that's, not as high as you expected. And then don't accept your first offer presented to you even if you're happy. So always try to go a little bit higher. Okay, another fun fact, it's now illegal in some states for prospective employers to ask candidates what their current salary is or their salary history. So if you're in an interview and they're asking how much you make currently or what you made at this other job that's on your resume, you have the right to refuse to say so. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so these are some phrases you can use when you're negotiating. And then, let's just get through the phrases first. So You could say, do you have any flexibility on the salary? On the salary figure, is that the maximum you can offer? And this one's really good because it's very specific. So this one says, based on my research, the salary range for this position is $75,000 to $125,000. Since I have a number of years of experience in this type of position, I was anticipating coming in closer to the top of the range. So this person came very prepared. They said, this is how much people in my position make. You know, I have a number of years under my belt, and so I think I deserve to be on the top or closer to the top of that range. Okay, and this is also another good one. So I was somewhat disappointed with the salary number. Based on my experience and salary history, I was hoping for $65,000. How close can you get me to that figure? Okay, so that's actually the end of the presentation. So ready, set, negotiate. If any of you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Let me go ahead and post the last poll. Make sure you take that before you leave. Okay, a lot of different answers in the pre-poll, which is good. No one has any questions? Okay, we're just waiting for a couple more people, but I think I'm going to end it here. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope your job hunt goes well. I know it's very, very hard to find a job nowadays, but I hope you find your dream job. Good luck on your search, and I will see you all. Oh, we have one question. Oh, thanks, Ivan. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye. See you on the hub.